Hi. I was gonna be silly, but maybe I'll wait until tomorrow. Sing a little sing a little tune for you. Anyway, today we're gonna talk about alcohol and why alcohol is harmful. So we're gonna go to the book. Again, you can follow along your textbook or follow along to this text as I'm doing it. Thank you. So, lesson 9.1, why alcohol is harmful. Alcohol causes the brain and other parts of the body to work more slowly. There's 5 ways in which drinking alcohol might affect a person's behavior. So the one we always think of is driving. Again, when our brain doesn't work well with that, we don't have the reflexes we can to drive. But also operating machinery, operating anything when we're under the influence of alcohol is never good. So today we're going to learn about how alcohol affects a person's physical and mental health, the short-term and long-term risks of using alcohol, and why pregnant women should not drink alcohol. We're going to have vocab words like alcohol, drugs, cirrhosis, alcoholism, and fetal alcohol syndrome. So, what is alcohol? Alcohol is a substance that is produced by a chemical reaction in some foods. Alcohol is also a drug. A drug is any substance that changes the structure or function of the body or mind. Again, we understand that, yes, there are some alcohols that we use in chemistry. There are some alcohols that we rub on our body, like hydrogen peroxide. We don't drink hydrogen peroxide, kids. When we're talking about alcohol, we're talking about spirits and libations that we consume in beer, hard liquor, wine. When a person drinks alcohol, it passes through the stomach and small intestines and moves into the bloodstream. When alcohol reaches the brain, it slows down the body's functions and reactions. We'll see figure 9.1 in a minute. Why do some young people drink alcohol? In the United States, it's illegal for anyone under 21 years old to drink alcohol. Some teens break this law because they want to fit in with friends or family members who drink. They may think that drinking will make them seem more grown up. Teens may also think drinking will help them escape their problems. However, drinking cannot solve problems. It creates new ones. So again, you guys have to understand, and yes, I see I screwed up my pages. I'm going to read this part. Idiota. Actually, all I'm cutting off is just the body. Just like tobacco, which we didn't do the questions because tobacco, the lesson went too long, which is okay. I'm going to combine this worksheet. Alcohol, like tobacco with young people, will stunt your growth and will screw up a developing body. Hence, that's why tobacco now in the state of Colorado, you have to be 21 to legally purchase it and use it. For Colorado, for ages, it was 18. And the reason is things like that, the federal government let the states decide at what age. Now, it had to be 18 or higher. Colorado, like a bunch of states, this year for tobacco, you have to be 21 now. Alcohol has been like this, I think, since 1981, that you've had to be. When my parents were growing up, they had what's known as college bars where 18-year-olds could have alcohol, but it was usually only 3.2. Anyway, harmful effects of alcohol in the body. How alcohol affects parts of the body. Brain. Alcohol slows down the way the brain works when people drink. They have trouble thinking, speaking, and moving. They may say and do things that would not normally say or do. Drinkers often do not realize that alcohol has affected their thinking and their behavior. Alcohol also makes a person clumsy and slower to react to an emergency. These effects make people who have been drinking very dangerous drivers. Blood vessels. Alcohol expands blood vessels. More blood passes through, making the drinker feel warmer. However, as more blood flows close to the body's surface, the body loses heat. This may lead a person to stay outdoors too long in cold weather, causing the body temperature to fall dangerously low. We've seen that happen a lot to people where they'll get really drunk in the winter and they'll walk somewhere and they feel warm, but then they pass out and they basically freeze to death out there. Heart. Heavy drinking can lead to high blood pressure and may damage heart muscles. Liver. As blood passes through the liver, this organ slowly breaks down any alcohol that is in the blood. Heavy drinking over a long period can damage the liver. It can cause hepatitis, liver cancer, or cirrhosis, which is the destruction and scarring of liver tissue. Cirrhosis can lead to death. And I have a picture of a liver that's on cirrhosis versus a healthy liver. And finally, stomach. Heavy drinking can damage the lining of the stomach. Eventually, it can cause sores called ulcers. Alcohol, short-term and long-term effects. Alcohol begins to affect the body soon after it is swallowed. The blood vessels expand the heart rate, and the heart rate increases. The drinker's reaction, behavior, and judgment are also affected. Drinking large amounts of alcohol in a short time can cause a condition known as alcohol poisoning. People may vomit, become unconscious, and have trouble breathing. Alcohol poisoning can cause death. When that happens, when you get alcohol poisoning, people rush you to the hospital. You go into the emergency room and they pump your stomach. They basically induce vomiting in you, so that way you can get all that bad stuff out. And you want to be careful of that too, because sometimes people get drunk and they will pass out, fall asleep, and they can choke on their vomit. The first lead singer of the band AC/DC, Bon Scott, that's how he died. He choked on his own vomit from drinking too much. Several factors can influence alcohol's effects on people. These factors include how fast they drink. When drunk quickly, alcohol builds up in the body faster than the liver can process it. How much they drink. The size and alcohol content of a drink influences its effects. We'll see figure 9.2 in a minute. How much they weigh. The same amount of alcohol affects a smaller person more than the larger person. Such as, again, if we played almost like a Russian nesting doll with myself and my two brothers, Aaron and Paul. Again, obviously, if we drink the same amounts of beer, it's going to affect me a lot quicker because I'm 5'7", 125 pounds. Aaron's 6 foot and he's about 190 pounds. Paul's 6'2" and about 215 pounds. So it's going to hit me a lot faster. How much we've eaten. Having an empty stomach can cause alcohol to pass through the bloodstream more quickly. How they feel. A person's mood before drinking affects his or her mood after drinking. For example, depression may increase drinking. The use of other drugs. Even medicine like aspirin increases effects on the alcohol. It may increase effects of alcohol. Mixing alcohol with some drugs can be fatal. We've seen that a lot where in pretty much all over-the-counter medicine, they say do not take if you drink more than 3 alcoholic drinks in a day. It just destroys your liver. Alcohol content in different drinks. The 3 drinks here are different sizes, but they contain the same amount of alcohol and have the same effect of the brain and body. How many ounces of beer would produce the same effect as 6 ounces of wine? Well, we see if there's 4 ounces of wine is the same as 12 ounces of beer. So I got to make you do math. We divide 4 into 12, and that's 3. So if we add another 2 ounces, so for every ounce of wine, we have 3 ounces of beer. So 6 ounces of wine would be the equivalent of an 18-ounce beer. And again, we see that mixed drink 1.5 ounces of liquor, things like whiskey, vodka, rum, bourbon, things like that. And again, you're going to make me do math. 1.5 ounces of liquor would be the equivalent to 4 ounces of wine. I'm just going to do this real quick, as easy as I can, because I don't feel like doing the math. So it's going to be about a little over 2 ounces of hard liquor. Addiction and alcoholism. Alcohol has serious long-term effects. Not only does it damage the body, but it can lead to addiction. The physical and mental need for alcohol is a disease called alcoholism. People who have this illness are called alcoholics. Alcoholism cannot be cured, but it can be treated. The alcoholic must go through a process to remove the effects of alcohol from his or her body. Once that's happened, the alcoholic must never drink alcohol again. Pregnancy and alcohol. When a pregnant woman drinks, alcohol passes from her body into the bloodstream of her developing baby. This can lead to fetal alcohol syndrome, a group of permanent physical and mental problems caused by alcohol. Babies with fetal alcohol syndrome often weigh less than average. They may suffer from birth defects and mental retardation. To make sure the babies do not develop FAS or fetal alcohol syndrome, women should avoid alcohol completely during pregnancy. Again, we see government warnings. According to the Surgeon General, women should not drink alcohol beverages during pregnancy because of the risk of birth defects. Consumption of alcoholic beverages may impair your ability to drive a car or operate machinery and may cause health problems. And again, some states nowadays, I haven't looked up, Colorado, but if a child is born with fetal alcohol syndrome, or we don't have time to get into other drugs like crack and cocaine, some babies are born with crack or cocaine in their system because their parents do it. Some parents get arrested for that, and they take the child away and they're put into foster care. Because again, that's just irresponsible and wrong to do alcohol and drugs and smoking while you're pregnant. So, we're going to watch a couple of videos about what alcohol does to you. Then I'm going to show you a picture of a healthy liver versus a liver with cirrhosis. And then we're going to combine the worksheet for cigarettes or for tobacco and alcohol, because the cigarette talk is going to take longer than the class period. And I want you guys to do some questions for each. As always, if you have any questions, please message me on Schoolology or unmute yourself during synchronous learning. Thank you very much, Pirates, and have a super sparkly day.